and they score! And Giroux's got it! He deflects it by Antiniemi! And the Flyers have some magic left as they win it in overtime!
Voracek cutting on in, Voracek to the middle of the shot, he scores!
It's time for the 5-Minute Major Podcast.
He scores! Simon Gagne!
That's what the people came to see!
Now here's your hosts, Matt Mastrogiovanni and Dave Morris.
Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another episode of 5-Minute Major Radio. Dave here, along with my broadcast partner in crime, Matt Mastrogiovanni. Matt, how's it going this evening?
It's going all right. I mean, it's been a long day for me personally, but the Flyers, I mean, it's not even all right with them. It's just kind of like it's not the beginning of the end. It's like the middle of the beginning of the end because let's see, we can count them on how many hands now? Probably one, right? They're in single digits, I think.
5, 6, 7 games left.
2 hands. But yeah, I mean, I feel like again we're just kind of like adding to, like, we're basically throwing dirt in their grave for this season at this point because their playoff hopes are they mathematically eliminated yet?
No, they're not. I don't know how. I think I think I saw on Twitter that if they lose tomorrow night, I think they are officially mathematically eliminated.
Oh, all right.
But I cannot confirm the accuracy of the said tweet where I saw that. So do not take that for truth.
They have 7 games left. They can get 14 points, and they're they're not going to make the playoffs. I mean,
we've all known that since the end of March.
I was going to say, yeah, the way they played themselves into a tailspin in March, we were like, all right, there's still a chance, but there's really not. Like, there's not at this point, and I'm honestly okay with that because they don't even deserve to make the playoffs the way that they played since March, since the COVID pause in late February.
Mm-hmm.
But we have a series. We're in the midst of a 4-game series with the Devils right now. We'll talk about that in a few minutes here. But we did have back-to-back games against the New York Rangers. One of them was fun. It was at MSG, James Van Riemsdyk, Big Apple Gym, as I like to call them when they're in Madison Square Garden. 2 goals, hockey guy goals, as what? I think it's Chicklets that says that. It's just a general term. We don't have to credit them, but scores one off his face, which was awesome, and then comes back with the jaw guard and scores another power play goal. 2 power play goals. The Flyers win 3-2 in MSG. Elliott made 33 saves. Sorry. It was a good game. And obviously at this point, like we said last week, I think we were texting each other about gumption.
Yes, we were.
The word of the remaining games is gumption.
Yes, gumption.
And they've shown it, and they've also just not shown it.
Yes.
And that next game against the Rangers the following day just again speaks to the fact that the Flyers have never been good at putting together any sort of continuous effort this season, and they lose 4-1 to the Rangers, and it's like that's the team that we know.
Yes.
So again, it's just like the doldrums at this point where it's like I think who was it? One of the Flyers insiders, I forget who tweeted it, but he just tweeted hockey purgatory, and that's literally what we're living in, where it's like, the Flyers, like you said, like we both said, they're playing for pride at this point, but there's points at this point that they're not even playing for pride, where they just still are like apathetic, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead.
No, I'm just saying it's very frustrating because then you get in this Devils series.
Mm-hmm.
And on Sunday, they had gumption. They came down, led by Claude Giroux, beat the Devils in a shootout where the Devils collapsed in the last minute of play. Claude Giroux passing
Brian Prop.
Brian Prop, thank you for the assist there. That's what good buddies are for.
Got
Passes Brian Prop for third all-time in scoring behind Bobby Clark
Yeah.
and Bob Kelly.
I think it's yeah. He still has like 400 points to score to possibly beat Bobby Clark, I think.
To beat Clark, he needs it's a couple hundred points. But
It's
to
at
get to
least
second
200.
to get to second place, he only needs like 50 or some points,
That's
which he could
doable.
hit next year.
Yeah.
So that game, you're led by Claude Giroux. You come back, you win the shootout, you beat the Devils, which always feels good because screw the Devils. Then you have a game, last night's game. Flyers lose 6-4 to, again, said New Jersey Devils.
Yeah.
In a game where Igor Zamula makes his pro debut, played all right. Jackson Cates, older brother of Noah Cates, Flyers' top defensive prospect, gets his first NHL point on an assist. Flyers, again, dig a deep hole. The first 20 minutes of that game, Sean Couturier came out and said were unacceptable. Sean, have you been you've been with the team this whole year?
The first 20 minutes of that game, this entire season has been unacceptable.
It was just the first 20 minutes of last night's game.
Sorry, I need to just rant here for a second. I really can't believe that at one point they said they were trending in the right direction as they were literally just drowning.
That was just lip service from AV to the media. That's what he had. He was better off saying nothing than not saying that comment, because it's going to be something that if he does not improve his time here in Philadelphia, that's going to be the only joke. Oh, well, they're trending in the right direction with Alain Vigneault.
Yeah. And I think also, I don't know if it was the first Devils game on Sunday where the Devils have the worst penalty kill in the league, just below the Flyers' penalty kill. And I think at one point the Flyers had a power play and they had no shots on the power play against the worst penalty kill in the entire NHL.
Yeah, and then
that is how bad the special teams are.
And last night the Flyers had a 4-minute double minor power. They had a 4-minute power play and didn't do jack shit with. And it's a game where they go down 3-1 early. Coots says they played unacceptable in the first 20. Buddy, where have you been? Half your play's been unacceptable all this entire season for your entire team. And then they come back in the third with one of those momentous comebacks where all of a sudden, bang, boom, boom, it's 3-all. Everyone seems to be happy. And I saw someone on Twitter who I follow, who I'm blanking on her name, but he tweeted, the Flyers tied this game too early. Yep. And literally, seconds after tweeting that, the Devils scored again to make it 4-3. Then what do you know? The Flyers tied it back up. And then 11 seconds after that goal, Brian Elliott, who has been earlier this year decent, and has now just become Brian Elliott of old, where he has not been good, where he's been used far too much, made one of the most idiotic plays and forgot how to goalie and tried to play a puck behind the net on a wraparound. Stay in your net if you are not confident that you are going to get the puck. It was because of Brian Elliott the Devils scored that go-ahead goal.
Yeah.
That game last night, literally, it's on the Flyers skaters for the first half, and that third period collapse is on Elliott. Yep. The dude needs to sit. I've said this before on this podcast. We've seen from Brian Elliott. Thank you for your service for your 3 or 4 years here in Philadelphia, but pack your bags. You are gone this offseason. Alex Lyon, thank you for your service for all these years with the Lehigh Valley Phantoms. When we called you up, pack your bags. You are gone. Out of here. No longer an option. You have now seen that Alex Lyon is not an NHL caliber goaltender.
Oh, yeah.
So for the rest of this season, like we said, we have 7 games left. The Flyers have called up Felix Sandstrom, who has been pretty good with the Phantoms, has found his game again.
Yeah.
Who's an RFA after this season. Do you think I think Felix Sandstrom deserves to get the net. He's played well enough in the Phantoms. At one point in his career as a Flyers prospect, he was thought to rival and be just as good as Carter Hart. Of course, that hasn't worked out to be that way. But you know what? You're not making the playoffs. The season's lost. You've got Ghost lost due to injury for I think the rest of the season. Who knows if Carter's coming back? At this point, if you're hurt, just shut it down for the whole year. And Felix, I want to see him in net, just because. It's not going to matter. And at least
Yeah.
you find out what you have in the kid officially at the NHL level. And maybe it helps boost his confidence, But man, last night's game was it was laughable. It was another embarrassing collapse by this franchise, by this sports team, and just more bullshit hockey men cliche quotes afterwards in the day and press media availability. And it's just like, when is this going to end? Like, and that's why it all leads to our past rants we've had on this podcast of where like, it's an organizational problem, and it stems from Comcast on down. They're, like we've said a billion times, Matt, and I'll give you the talking stick back here, but this offseason, there needs to be seismic change in this organization.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm forgetting who tweeted it the other night, but it's basically like hockey purgatory where you're stuck in complacency. And again, I am saying this again for the 1,000th time, but we've seen this organization be just completely acceptable with mediocrity. Where, and again, like we said, as long as they get their money, as long as they get their nut, and they get butts and seats, apparel sold, all that stuff, they really don't care, or at least it seems like, and it has seemed like, they don't care about what the on-ice product is. And it was literally like, I'm pretty sure, not to brag here, but like when they first came out with the Rage Room at Wells Fargo Center, I think I tweeted something where it was like, how about instead of a Rage Room, we actually make the Flyers good so people don't have to actually use something like that? Like,
yeah.
Or hell, make it free, because if they're this bad, just line up for that Rage Room, and just literally, I'm sure you could have 20,000 people in and out of that thing by the third period, because hey, everyone hit one plate, and the Flyers are already down 3-0, and it's 5 minutes into the game, and they've already fucking phoned it in. Sorry for the F word there, but
dude, I have used my allotted share of them these past couple of weeks, so
no, I know
you're all good, buddy.
But it's just like, dude, it's again, like, I don't even know anymore. It's just that we're stuck in just miserable hockey. And for the folks at home that are listening, and whoever's not at home and listening, like we just said a few minutes ago, there are just 7 games left. There's 2 more games against the Devils on tomorrow. Tomorrow, Thursday at 7:00. I believe, in Newark, armpit of the America. And then they play Saturday night against the Devils. They close out the 4-game series at the Wells Fargo Center. Hopefully we have a nice, entertaining matchup on Monday and Tuesday, because the Flyers play the Penguins at home on Monday and Tuesday night. So hopefully, again, we get a little bit of at least the Flyers beat the Penguins. I'd probably just jinx them, because that's how the Flyers are, and that's probably my luck. But and then Friday the 7th and Saturday the 8th of May, they have a back-to-back against the Washington Capitals in the nation's capital. And guess what? They get to close out the season against the Devils once again on May 10th. So I'm trying to think of any sort of movie or TV show that just has I can't say the Titanic, because seems like it's worse than watching the Titanic sink, but it's like on May 10th when the game is over, whether they win or lose, you just want to take a sigh of relief, and you just say to yourself with a tear running down your eye, you're just like, finally, it's over. We can put this season to bed, and we can hopefully move on to, dare I say, better things. This, obviously, the fan base deserves so much better than this team has been. Hopefully the players know that. Hopefully the organization knows that, which they probably don't give a shit about. But again, I mean, The fat lady sang back in March at this point with this
Yep.
team where they played themselves into that tailspin of just losing game after game, finding new ways to lose, no continuous effort, no momentum, nothing. Just again, basically a flat seltzer hockey team.
Yep.
And it's just been not fun for the most part.
And what really stinks too is, you know, I might have brought this up a couple podcasts ago, but I was talking to a friend of the pod, Jason Coley, who's a resident Avalanche fan in Willow Grove, PA here. But he, the Avs and Wild do not like each other like that. Those are the rivals right now. And he's like, you hired the king of mediocrity and Chuck Fletcher to be your GM. And what did the Minnesota Wild do every year that Chuck Fletcher was their GM? They either just missed the playoffs and picked between 14 and 16, maybe 18 in the first round.
Yeah.
Or they made it the first round and lost and ended up picking 20. That's not going to make you any better. You either need to be good enough to win and go far and make big free agent splashes, and that's how you get your team better, or you just need to freaking suck and pick top 10. Or you actually need to get lucky in a draft lottery, and you need to pick a player who's going to be a franchise-altering player. And I'm sorry, I think we can cross Nolan Patrick's name off that list now. I've given the kid plenty of time. Yeah. I've seen so much stuff this week about fans saying, "Oh, well, we compare Couturier to Nolan Patrick, and we all waited for Coots. It's going to be fine." Well, here's the thing: Coots had other aspects of his game that made him valuable to the team. Besides his offense. The offense eventually came while he got better at being an offensive forward. Nolan Patrick has zero things right now that make this team better. He sucks in the shootout, he sucks on the power play, he sucks in his own zone, and he sucks on faceoffs. I'm done sugarcoating it. Nolan Patrick, I know we have preached patience with you. You essentially missed almost 2 years of hockey. But you know what? You're a pro athlete, for Christ's sake. Get your shit together. If you're not healthy enough to play, retire. Stop wasting our time.
Yeah.
I want to love Nolan Patrick. I really do. Second overall pick. We were all hyped as hell when we drafted him. And he's done jack shit. The guy taking it from him, Nico Hischier, is now captain of the New Jersey Devils. You have Cale Makar, who won Rookie of the Year and is the best offensive defenseman, he's the best two-way defenseman in the league right now, essentially, offensively. And then you've got Miro Heiskanen and Elias Pettersson right behind him. You've got stud, Nolan Patrick. And it's you're looking back and you're looking at hindsight, but it's of course, that's the Flyers' luck. The year we jump up and pick second overall, we literally get the bum of the draft.
Yep.
And I hate the fact that I'm saying these things about Nolan Patrick right now.
Yeah.
But I just watched him this year just look I get it. He came out with fire when he started, and we were like, Nolan Patrick revenge tour, let's go. And then he just went just literally just a crashing, falling plane in flames.
The tour bus just completely fell apart. In the middle
all the wheels fell off, then went the whole bearings and the brass balls, it all came apart. And I look at him and I'm like, the big thing is you can tell he has no confidence and he's trying to play through it. But okay, why isn't he scratched then? Players who have no confidence shouldn't be in the lineup. They did that to Carter Hart. And he came back when he had confidence and he was good. He's hurt now, but what are we doing?
But I think at this point too, that whole getting your confidence back, I think is a lost cause for this season at least, because it's
at this point, yeah, totally.
If he scores a goal, if he scores a goal tomorrow night, it's he's getting some confidence back, but it's the season's over in 6 games, so unless he goes on an absolute some miraculous tear these next 6 games, I don't think. And again, going back to your point about he hasn't done anything. We could literally put most of this Flyers team, if not all of these players,
into that category.
On a milk carton, like a missing child ad. Literally, where have you been this whole season, most of the whole season? Because again, prior to the COVID, prior to the COVID shutdown, they were playing pretty well. And just whatever happened just completely neutralized this team in every aspect, in every way, shape, or form, off the ice, on the ice. I mean, it was just crazy to see. Like, it wasn't night and day, it was night and complete hell. Like, I mean, you was like, all right, we won a couple games, like we're doing well, and then it's like COVID shut down, and then it's like it was just what is going on? Like,
It's like
and
winter had arrived.
exactly. But actually, side note, did you see they started filming it's the prequel series to Game of Thrones.
They have automaking up to do the fans. We're now going to be a Game of Thrones podcast here.
Here we go. We're now a movie and TV show podcast. I almost said broadcast, but what else I can? Oh, and then it sucks even more now because, again, speaking of the Wild, they clinched a playoff spot yesterday, I think, and you're obviously seeing teams clinch playoff spots because the playoffs start in 3 weeks. I don't know the exact date. Bad radio, but anyway. Like,
the playoffs start, I think they start on May 12th. I think they start the day after. I think they start on my 30th.
There you go. And you can say this for every team that misses the playoffs, but it's like, especially the Flyers, for us personally, and for how much potential they were supposed to have and for how good they were supposed to be this year, it's literally the Squidward meme where he's looking out the window to SpongeBob and Patrick having fun. And Squidward is the Flyers. Actually, Squidward is the Flyers. It's not even the Flyers team. It's just the fans. And because it's Flyers fans, and then it's basically Squidward and SpongeBob can be mostly every other fan base enjoying this season to some degree. Like, it's just crazy. But I mean, you really can't do much at this point. Just besides, I saw again big millennial guy here too, but I saw a TikTok today where it was like this guy was saying, like, sometimes in life you have problems, and you know what the best way to deal with it? It's obviously a joke, but he was like, you just say it be like that. And I'm literally like, that's the mindset for the Flyers at this point, where you're just so like fed up with you're fed up, you're angry, you're frustrated, you're miserable, and then you're just like, last night's game happens. Obviously, they go down 3-0. You're like, it be like that. And then they come back, and you're like, excitedly, it be like that. And then they lose 6-4, and you're like, it be like that. That. So, I mean, that should be, instead of anytime, anywhere, it should be, it be like that.
It be like that. That's their new motto.
That's another thing that I just thought about, too. Please get rid of that slogan, because it's just no good has come from that slogan. Because I've seen so many tweets where it's like, anytime, anywhere, meaning anytime the Flyers, they can get scored on, or just come up with a new slogan. It was good when they were in the bubble because obviously you weren't even playing at home. Why would you not come up with a new slogan for the new season when things are slowly starting to get back to normal? But instead, again, a sick nod to the Flyers marketing department. And again, I mean, I don't know if I can do much better, but still, you go from Orange Crush, Vengeance Now, all these cool, tough, Flyers hockey slogans, and it's just like, we can do this anytime, anywhere. It's like, yeah, you can lose a game in overtime. You can have a puck go off your defenseman's stick and past your goalie. You can lose to the worst team in the league when they're on an 18-game winning streak. They can be bad anytime, anywhere, but they can't be good.
You can get blown out by the New Jersey by the Devils, the Islanders, and Rangers.
That's another thing too.
All in one stretch.
The Devils were on a 10-game winless streak, and of course the Flyers. The Flyers are the team, and they have been the team for any player. Where it's like, hey, are you on a goalless drought?
Play the Flyers. Play the Flyers.
Do you need your first? We got you. Yeah. Do you need your first NHL goal? Play the Flyers. Are you on a winless streak? Play the Flyers. It's like, did you just get a new coach who barely knows the system of the teams? Play the Flyers, and you'll probably kill us. It's just insane that the Flyers are
you don't even have a coach. You don't even have your coaching staff
yeah.
coaching at all.
Yeah. Whole coaching staff down with COVID. Play the Flyers, and you'll win 9-0.
Yep.
It's insane. Like, there's so many emotions surrounding this team, and it's mainly, again, it's frustration. You can hear it in our voices. It's frustration. It's anger. It's crazy. Like how bad this season has been, and the Flyers. I don't think I know. The Flyers at this point are a joke.
Yeah,
and
they're completely a joke.
it's sad to say that, but like they're not a good team, but just how bad they've gotten, and again, they've found new ways to lose games, to shoot themselves in the foot somehow. Like it's just again, it be like that.
And the biggest thing that frustrates me is on last podcast, all I say is I want to watch good hockey for the remainder of this season.
Yeah.
And they've literally gone, okay, we'll meet you halfway. Because literally they've had in the 4 games since our last podcast, they are 2-2.
There we go.
They are literally even 500. And even in their wins, you've gone, I'll take it. But am I happy about that? I mean, you're always happy when you beat the Rangers or Devils because screw them both. But
even these wins aren't even that fun.
Like with the way Sunday's win against the Devils, you were still down 3-1, and at that point, we're fuming as a fan base. And you're like, all right, these assholes here, they're going to come back now. If they wasted 40 minutes of our and their time, now they're going to come back and win? And then they'll go off and they'll say quotes like Voracek again being like, I don't know, some Confucius be like, oh, well, you can't really play a full 60 minutes of hockey. Shut the fuck up. Yes, you can. You at least give more of an effort for a full 60. Jesus Christ.
If you don't skate the puck into 4 defensemen, then you might have a better game, like Voracek always seems to do now.
You know what? I'm going to call out Jake Voracek. You know what? If you have the brass balls to call out the media and to call out the fan base, then you know what? Learn to freaking take it. Unblock the majority of this fan base that you have blocked, including myself, and take the heat you rightfully deserve, or get the hell out of town. If you can't handle Philly fans, don't come to play here. Don't re-sign here. I'm sick of it. And I'm sick of Jake Voracek. And it sucks. I own his freaking sweater.
I don't think it's that either. It's like he can keep everyone blocked, but it's like you said, if he can't take the heat, then get out of the kitchen. But
or put up and shut up.
If he wants
go out there.
I was gonna say if he want, you're taking the words right out of my mouth here. I was gonna say
I'm stealing your gumption.
Yeah, exactly. But I was gonna say is that all he has to do is literally just play better. And that's what the whole team has to do. There wouldn't be so much drama and BS surrounding this team about what's going on in the room, what's COVID, flat cap, and it's honestly none of that matters at this point because the season was lost in March. But again, if they would have somehow just at least played better, then it wouldn't be the constant doom and gloom of it's funny. I think Jordan Hall has come out with some uber depressing stat about the Flyers before every game these last few weeks and days, and I'm just
Jordan Hall, a man of the people.
Yeah, and I'm just damn, I was it really do be like that. But
I think so last week we found gumption for the episode title. I think this week it really be like that.
Yeah, we're putting that on a t-shirt when we start making merchandise. We're gonna get gumption with it's gotta have the sparkle emojis like I sent you, remember?
Yes.
It's gotta so that's gotta be the one, and then we have to have just quotes, it be like that. Flyers hockey, established 1967, it be like that. That's it.
Is that our semi-announcement to our listeners that we're going to start having merch after we get our act together and try and design some stuff?
Yeah, we can. And then we also have to do the it is what it is, that thing too. That is textbook Flyers hockey right now, where it's you're just you're completely fed up with it all, where you're just it is what it is, or it be like that, or and like you said, they met us halfway with gumption so far. Just put gump, half the word gumption. So
gumption 50-50.
We're off on a tangent here, but I mean, again, the Flyers have 7 games left. They finish off the series with the Devils tomorrow and Saturday, and then they move on to Pittsburgh. Then they move on to Washington, and then they close out the season against the Devils on May 10th. As I tweeted in our tweet tonight, pre-podcast, in the words of Thanos, reality is often very disappointing, and he is spot on with the Flyers on that one.
Yeah, coming off the 2-year anniversary of Avengers Endgame too. That was earlier this week.
Ooh, and 3-year anniversary of Infinity War.
Fantastic films. I've just got if we're looking ahead to the remaining schedule, I have for some reason I don't know why I think this way, but I have a really bad feeling about these 4 games coming up against the Penguins. The 4 games total, but 2 against the Penguins and then 2 against the Capitals.
Yeah.
I just feel like they're going to get shit kicked in all 4.
I think
or they'll win. They'll split this. They'll go 2-2. The loss. They're either gonna with the Penguins. They're either gonna storm out of the park, or the Crosby's gonna go. Just kidding. This is my show.
Yeah.
And same with the Ovi and the Capitals. They're either gonna win, and they're gonna win damn straight, or they're just gonna get blown to misery.
Smithereens.
It's not gonna be good.
Yeah.
And of course, you know they are losing this game on May 10th against the Devils.
Oh yeah.
That's just the perfect way to end this shitty year. They're like, Dave, we know you're getting married. We know you're getting married and you turn 30 in the rest of this week, but we really want to give you the best present of all and just lose to the team you can't stand the most.
Yeah.
It really be like that.
Exactly. But yeah, like we said, I mean, that's the Flyers' remaining schedule right there. We don't even know what's going to happen at this point. I'm not even going to pretend to know what's going to happen. But
we just need need the Joker to come in and be he just needs to insert that agent of chaos.
Introduce a little anarchy.
Precisely.
What a great movie.
We're jumping from Marvel to DC to merch. We're all over the place this week.
Oh yeah, but that's what we got tonight with the way this Flyers team is, because it's been a broken record for this past month and a half, literally.
You gotta try and throw in some deprivating humor to try and make this somewhat more fun.
True. I was gonna say It's you can only make fun of. You can only be miserable for so long until you just start making fun of yourself, which is basically what we're doing with the Flyers. But as I was going to say earlier, I think that does it for our Flyers coverage, but we will take an ad break, and then we will go briefly around the league.
Can confirm they're good buddies, and we'll throw some Letterkenny quotes in there. But like Master just said, we will be back here at 5 Minute Major Radio in just a second.
Hey guys, I'm here to talk to you about Anchor real quick. It's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me give you some reasons why. First off, it's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or from your computer. So if you want to make a podcast on the go, like from a Flyers game, that's awesome. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more podcast resources. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. That's right, money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Again, the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
And we are back here at 5 Minute Major Radio now that I can speak again. Matt, let's go around the league. What you got for us this week?
Sounds good. So we don't have much. Actually, we only have one thing. Unless I can find something else quick. But the big news yesterday. Sorry, I was double checking my dates. The big news yesterday was that the NHL and Turner Sports reached a 7-year media rights agreement that will have regular season, Stanley Cup playoff, and Stanley Cup final games televised on TNT and TBS starting next season and running through the 2027-28 season. So that's obviously a big deal. I think these were the the leftover rights
Yes, it's a
after the
secondary deal.
ESPN deal. But
Mhm.
this is very good for the NHL because Turner Sports is a division of Warner Media, which is basically like Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers owns HBO, obviously TNT and TBS. And I think that they're going to have obviously they'll have the cable platforms and TNT and TBS, but there's also apparently going to be the digital properties, in particular HBO Max and Bleacher Report. So the NHL, literally baseball term here, the Phillies are on actually too, but NHL covering all of its bases with streaming, live games, and just all that good stuff that this beautiful game deserves. And I guess is NBC even still going to do anything
No,
now?
NBC is out.
Wow.
This will be the first time in over a decade that NBC will not have any form of hockey on. And what I'm actually really stoked about with this Warner News and being on TBS and TNT, and HBO being involved is TNT/TBS is getting the Winter Classic for all the 7 years of its deal.
Yep.
You know, there used to be this program called HBO 24/7 Road to the Winter Classic.
Uh-oh.
That was I would say it was pretty successful and a pretty big hit for all hockey fans because it was unfiltered. If that comes back, oh yeah.
Oh man, it's basically like the Undertaker gif
Yes.
when he rises from the coffin after where like he quickly comes up. Oh man, that would be awesome. But it's funny too because I guess the NHL didn't something must have happened obviously behind the scenes that the NHL didn't continue on with 24/7, but they went to Epics, which was like boo, which sucked. I didn't even watch any of those Epic series when they
The
did like
Epics ones were okay. It was still a little unfiltered, but not to the point of HBO was. And then they only did that for like one or two Winter Classics. And then NBC tried to do it on NBCSN, and it was made for television BS. Like it wasn't good at all.
yeah. But what I was saying is that HBO, they obviously have Hard Knocks, which is the NFL, basically the NFL version of the Road to the Winter Classic, where they do training camp for NFL teams. Everyone probably knows that unless you live under a rock. They also did 24/7. I think they still do it for like boxing matches, leading up to boxing matches. But I'm hoping, like you said, if they brought back 24/7 and just did that 4-part Road to the Winter Classic for those 7 years, chef's kiss. And we get beautiful narration by Liev Schreiber,
Oh, fantastic.
who is our boy Ross Ray from Goon.
Yes.
So just the perfect voice to have such a majestic narrator in those series. And I always look forward to those Hard Knock shows too. I'm not like the biggest NFL guy, but it is cool seeing that again behind the scenes. You get obviously as fans we want to hear the unfiltered stuff where I think the NHL could have made some money this year, or especially in the bubble, if they did some sort of like pay-per-view for games where you literally just had like unfiltered, like mic'd up guys. Like,
It's all I would have watched.
yeah,
If
like
they had, if the
you
NHL,
pay like I don't know, like $10 a game, not even, because I'm sure so many people like that. There's a way to generate revenue right there. NHL marketing department, if you're listening to us somehow, I'll send you my resume. But could you imagine that? Like you pay like I don't know. Again, if there's millions of people doing it and you charge $5 per game to get unfiltered feeds of like the players, coaches, refs, all that, like they would make so much money.
yeah, but then you wouldn't be getting the full experience because the players and refs and coaches would know that was an option out there.
That's
so
true.
you wouldn't get Tim Peel incidences.
Maybe
You know what I
would.
mean?
But,
I feel like they would
but I
be
wouldn't be in
self-filtering
it.
themselves.
But I wouldn't be in it. Like I wouldn't go into it thinking maybe we'll get a referee scandal. I would just go in and be like, wow, I can't. Like I would love to hear Sean Couturier weave a tapestry of curse words after like a brutal penalty call. So
it would be very nice to hear.
yeah, I mean that's just obviously thinking out loud. I'm sure it's never going to happen, but like we said, that the Turner Sports Networks will televise the NHL Winter Classic in all 7 seasons of the deal. It will also televise all the games in the Stanley Cup Final in 2023, 2025, and 2027. 1 conference final series each season, and half of the first 2 rounds of the playoffs, plus 72 regular season games per season. The other years will be televised on ABC in 2022, next year, 2024, 2026, and 2028 as the part of the deal with the Walt Disney Company and ESPN. But like I said before, the NHL is basically they're finally doing the right thing where this is a big deal for them where they're, like I said, they're going to have their fingers in everything now. So, it's good. It's awesome to see, and it'll be different, obviously, since we're so used to NBC Sports, NBC networks, and all that. And I'm hoping that. See, I don't know. That's going to be the next interesting thing is that we'll have to see what type of like TV personalities we get now with these different networks. So,
I mean, if they can get if the NHL if Time Warner Sports makes a panel similar to what they have with Barkley and Shaq for the NBA for hockey, I'm all aboard that. And the big thing too for the NHL right now is they are now in the same space, television wise,
as the other 3 big 4 leagues,
as well, especially the NBA.
Yep.
Like you're on ESPN and now you're on TBS and TNT. Like you are now on the biggest sport networks in America. Like NBC's a big deal, but like NBC, kind of their product got worse and worse and worse every year.
Yeah.
They didn't really have the greatest people on television. Like, there's a lot of great individual people behind the scenes for NBC that you saw on social media and stuff, but like their on-air personalities weren't the greatest at times. Like, I mean, you love Jonesy and what he's done, but like JR was questionable at times. Everyone hated Milbury. They brought up Mike Babcock, which was an asinine move. So you just gotta wonder like what they're gonna do. And I kind of had a feeling I'm like Doc retiring was like I knew something was gonna happen with NBC once he announced that.
Well, I mean, he's irreplaceable. So like anyone that was wondering who would fill his shoes, no one can do that.
No one.
He's the greatest hockey announcer that'll ever live.
And the only thing is we can hope is if Gary Thorne can come back and claim back his rightful throne.
Oh my God.
With Billy Clement on ABC and ESPN.
I think Gary Thorne, the last time I heard Gary Thorne commentate anything was the Little League World Series.
The last time I've watched Gary Thorne call anything was the last time I literally watched him call a hockey game. I don't bother to watch the Little League World Series.
Oh, it's so good. Now
it's
we're a Little League
playing baseball. Who cares?
But it's a World Series. It's sick, and it's in Pennsylvania.
Come on, I'm watching baseball. I'm watching the major leagues.
Sport, dude. The Little League World Series is electric, man. You're missing out. All right, we're now a Little League World Series podcast, as well as a Game of Thrones podcast, and also a general TV and movie podcast on top of a Flyers podcast. So everyone gets the whole mixed bag here at this point now. Yeah. But getting back to things, oh man, I almost just lost my voice there. But again, great news for the NHL when it comes to TV rights. We'll finally see the beautiful game broadcast in its entirety on multiple different platforms, or will hopefully reach a lot of people. Actually, a good thing, too, is that in the article it says that the flat cap may go up sooner than before. So now there's one less excuse for Fletcher to make where he can't say, oh, it's a flat cap. Well, guess what? Your league just signed an absolute money deal with one of the biggest sports coverage companies in the world, and the cap might go up soon. So buckle up here, Chuck. But anyway, I digress for now. Other than that, as I look through my recent news on the NHL app here on my iPad, I think we are just about caught up with the major stuff. I mean, we have playoff scenarios, but those are obviously going to change depending on what happens in the games that are going on tonight and down the road here. There is another thing here, I guess, due to COVID, since the North American border between Canada and the United States has kind of been a problem. So the NHL announced again yesterday, Tuesday, they will adhere to local and national government regulations and are prepared to adapt during the upcoming Stanley Cup playoffs as part of its effort to continue prioritizing the health and safety of players, fans, team, and league personnel during COVID-19 pandemic. I was calling him Barry Bettman. Gary Bettman, the NHL commissioner, was quoted saying, "If we can't travel in Canada, either as among the provinces or from the U.S. to Canada and back, we'll make whatever adjustments we have to do to get the playoffs completed." The Scotia North Division is obviously made up of all the Canadian-based teams. The top four will qualify for the playoffs and compete within the division for the first two rounds to determine who will advance to the NHL semifinals, and then the winners of those will meet in the conference finals. Yeah. So like it has been this past year and a half in sports and in life, it's basically you wait and see what happens and you make the best of it, and that's what the NHL is going to do. Once they have to have teams cross the border for playoffs, I'm sure they'll have the necessary precautions and all that jazz set up for the players, fans, and whoever's involved in the playoffs to stay safe. Yeah. So, and that's the priority these days, you know?
Staying safe, you know, everyone getting vaccinated, everyone now in the U.S. can get vaccinated, and if you are a vaccinated person, you no longer have to wear a mask outside. So, things are getting better. We're now also a CDC sponsor.
I was going to say, which I think it's funny that on our CDC segment now, I think it's funny that they said that it was okay for fully vaccinated people to hang out together inside without a mask before they said outside.
It's the government. Does it ever make sense?
But anyway, that's our CDC segment brought to you by the CDC. No free ads, but yeah, now we're also a public health podcast as well. So again, mixed bag here tonight on 5 Minute Major Radio, but we don't have much else to talk about that's entertaining, because obviously the Flyers are the Flyers and just really not much going on around the league.
No, and I don't think I have anything else to add, Matt, so
I do not either. I think that wraps it up for tonight. Dave, like as usual, just take us home and end this before we just go completely off the rails.
Yeah, before we go completely sideways, like we said, there's 7 games left this year. Everyone, just try and get through it. You know, bright. It's getting nice out. It was beautiful today. It's supposed to be kind of crappy tomorrow, but then nice again on the weekend. Like spring and summer. Yeah. Like spring is here. Summer is around the corner. Getting ready to party and just have a good old time this summer. So everyone just try and keep on staying safe and healthy. The Flyers, it really be like that. We'll see you guys next week.